Juice? Who's got the juice? Smooth.
There we go. Right. Right. We're going to have to do with this because we have sun now in England, and where's my window? I already looked incredibly pale already in that window space. Now I look like I am being sent from the heavens as the light gleams upon my pale ass skin. So that lighting didn't work. Then I tried multiple different areas in my room. They didn't work. So we're going to have to be on my bed today, ladies and gentlemen. I am still working on lighting, and I am actually going to redecorate my room soon. But just give me time. The lighting will be sorted soon. I'm sorry. Hello, my juicy friends out there. Whether you come from that way or that way in the side of the globe, it doesn't matter. You've all got their juice. Monsters Inc. I bloody love Monsters Inc. These aren't the best films made of all time. Oh no, like these aren't like cinematic masterpieces that you can watch in the big screen and be swept off your feet by the pure brilliance of storytelling and the emotions and all of that fun jazz to do with awesome cinematography things, which I haven't done in years. It's not one of those films at all. I mean, Monsters University, it has so many plot holes in it, I don't even think I can stand it. I could write a whole essay on how many plot holes there are in that film. But you know what? I still had fun with Monsters University, and the first film, I just bloomin' love it. It's one of my top 10 films of all time, and I just hold it incredibly close to my heart. I remember seeing the first film when it came out in cinema, and then going into McDonald's afterwards with my family, because you know, you got the little Happy Meal and it was advertising Monsters Inc. at the time. I remember doing that, and then going home after it and being really scared by the scene where Boo's about to get her face eaten off by that giant Hoover thing, because I mean, that thing is just way too big for her face. She was going to seriously die. I remember getting the DVD for the film and then losing it, but we actually had it all along. I just couldn't see it because the side of the here he is. He's kind of like, he's so old now, he's kind of like by default back when I was back in like a little kid, and I got it in an Argos catalogue, as well as the Blu-ray from Monsters University, which I saw in the cinema with my friend when I was in sixth form, and we had like a banner of Monsters University, which was really awesome, and my friend got it because her dad, like, he's really big and cuddly. Just ignore that big bang outside, they're doing theatre work, everyone focus on my giant Sully, and which is a reference to Yukino Joe's video of your, I wouldn't have nothing if I didn't have you, sorry. I remember getting over here, I remember getting this one too, and I remember getting this watch, which I got in Disneyland. Look, there it is. I also remember getting a bunch of video games from the series. God, this is a lot of things. Look at all this stuff. Oh, look, so many things. To start off with, I remember first getting a Game Boy Advance, so one of the first games I had with it was Monsters Inc. This is the little manual book for it, and this is the game. Annoyingly, I was an idiotic little kid and I used to throw away the boxes, so I don't have the box, but we still kept the manuals and things. And like, even looking into it, it's like all colourful and stuff now. But this is like a game from the film rather than anything else, so if you want like a movie adaptation, fun little Game Boy game, oh, sorry, I've just noticed, so, Sonny's looking rather angry over there, don't you think? I think you can see him on the camera. I was just like, I need one of those cameras with a flippy screen. But yeah, got this little game, so that's the first one. And finally, I remember getting a game that is not based on the film at all, Monsters Inc. Scare Island. No! No, game, no, it fell off the bed, no! There we go, I got it. When Jim and I were kids and we had the PS2, we were 1 year treated to Monsters Inc. Scare Island for the PS2. We had this limited edition box, which was really cool when we were kids, but I think when I was a kid I was more confused as to what kind of made it special, because I was just more focused on the game itself rather than the box. But alas, when Jim moved out, he said that he was going to take pretty much all of the old games and things like that with him. I mean, some games that we shared, we split half and half as to what we had, but things like the PS2 and all that jazz, the games that we shared, he said, oh, but Rosie, I need them for my business. I should take them. And me, being a noble little heart, said, okay, that's fine. I will just keep the games that are definitely mine and not ones that we shared. But alas, I have lived the last couple of years of my life with an empty hole, a void in my heart, which didn't have Monsters Inc. Scare Island. So I went into the city, and you know, you go into some game shops and things like that, this, that and the other, and there it was. I saw it. Monsters Inc. Scare Island for the PS2. Oh my lord! I didn't get it. But then I went home and I thought, oh, I should have bought that Monsters Inc. Scare Island game. It was the limited edition version on the PS2. Why was I such a fool and didn't buy it? It was only £2.50. Yes, I thought, I am so tight. I didn't buy a game for £2.50. So I went back to the shop a couple of days later. So I looked at the shelf and it wasn't there. So I went home feeling, oh, woe is me. I still have this void of Monsters Inc. Scare Island in my heart, which I cannot fulfill. Oh, woe is me. In fact, I was so woeful that my boyfriend actually went into another shop and he got me Monsters Inc. Scare Island for the PS1 in another shop, which I never actually owned the PS1 version, but I used to play the demo of it all the time. Like, we had it on a demo disc and you could only do the training level, but I remember playing that. So I played the PS1 version and I thought, oh, if only I had that PS2 version again. Oh, the nostalgia was running high. I had already fulfilled part of what I had and my boyfriend had for me, but he had already fulfilled part of this empty void. But if only I saw the PS2 version. Oh my gosh, where is this PS2 version? And then he went into another shop. In fact, I say it was another shop. It was the exact same shop, but there was a restock, and alas, he was able to get me the plastic version of Monsters Inc. Scare Island for the PS2, which I was thrilled about. I thought, yes, finally, I have the PS2 version. Here it is, the booklet and the disc. And it was in a very nice box, and I was so happy he surprised me with it. Literally, I went to pick him up for work one day when he was on his lunch, and it was there, and he surprised me with it. I was so happy. And then we went into another city one day, and we thought we'd have a casual look at another game shop, and I had to have a look. I had to look into the M section on PS2, and oh my god! There was the limited edition version! Once again, it came back into my life, and it was a sign. I didn't even care that it was £2.50, or that I recently had the plastic version of the game and the PS1 version of the game. I didn't even care. At this point, I just saw it and I grabbed it. And the limit, it's just so cool. It's just so cool, and I'm so happy I've got this limited edition version again for the pure nostalgia and everything from it. But I'll tell you what, I want to show you guys what's inside this limited edition version, because I think it's so badass. So I think I've spoken about my history with this series long enough, and I think it's time that I actually delve into this game and see if it's as good as I remember it being when I was a kid. Monsters Inc. Scare Island, or Monsters Inc. Scream Team in the US, or Monsters Inc. Monster Academy in Japan, bloomin' heck, could they have stuck with one name? Is a PS1, PS2 and PC Disney interactive platformer game released in between 2001 to 2002, depending on your location. It focuses on Mike and Sully going through an academy in order to prove that they are suited to be scarers at Monsters Incorporated, making it a prequel to the first film.
I can't believe we were handpicked by Waternoose himself to train at the Monsters Incorporated private facility.
I can't do this. I'm too nervous. And you building up the situation like this is not helping.
Relax, Mikey. Remember what happened on our first day of college.
Oh, I remember, Sully. You being a complete and utter laddish prick to Mike as he was just settling in. Ah, I remember that first day oh so well. Now, in regards to the storyline of Monsters Inc., this is how it goes, according to myself anyway. We start off with Monsters University, where Mike and Sully both study to become scarers. I know that Mike and Sully always say college in a lot of the films and stuff like that, but I don't know how the American educational system works, so I think their college is England University, but please tell me if I'm wrong and that I'm just being a blathering idiot. Now that film ends— spoilers! Now that film ends with them in the post department of Monsters Incorporated, so I guess this is how they were handpicked by Waternoose, as he already knew them, and then they applied for this academy to then work their way up to becoming top scarers. Oh yeah, I'm creating a lore behind this series. But there's also the option that the team behind Monsters University forgot or didn't even realise that this game existed, so who knows? Now, in order to complete this course in the academy, our dynamic duo need to complete— oh, I forget, what was it again?
While you are here, the two of you will work together to complete a total of 15 trials. That's right, 15 trials.
15 trials?
That's right, 15 trials.
So how many?
15 trials.
Really?
That's right, 15 trials.
Nice!
But before we start these trials, I better understand how this game works. So it's time for some training with our good old lass Roz. Hang on a minute. You could play as Sully or Mike? What?
Seriously though, when I was a kid, this made me so happy, and I still think even today it's a great little touch to the game. You know, rather than just focusing on one character all the time, it really adds a nice bit of variety to it.
You know what? Let's start with Mike.
Oh my god, his eye. It's disgusting.
Welcome to the monster orientation.
Thank you, Roz.
Here you will learn all you need to know to become a top scarer at Monsters Incorporated.
Thanks, Roz.
So these letterboxes apparently contain Roz's spirit, as when you open them, you will receive hints and tips on what to do. But her spirit is only in some of them in the training room, as pretty much all of them have no voice. But I read them in her voice anyway.
Can't find what you're looking for? Press L2 or R2 to move the camera left or right.
Also, these letterboxes don't change the text automatically when Roz talks in the tutorial, so I was listening to her and then I got incredibly confused as I was hearing something different than what I was reading, and then go, damn it, game, why did you confuse me? And these arrow pixels, mwah, they're beautiful. So to save you listening to Roz's voice, because you know, my D-Part's voice is so much better, the controls are as follows. Both characters have pretty much the exact same abilities. They can both dump. They can both dump. Welcome to Monsters Inc. where you just dump on the screen. They can both jump and double jump, attack while stationary, attack whilst moving, and scare robot children.
Don't worry, I'll come back to them.
It's a very simple platforming layout, but for some reason, Mike has some advantages. When you jump and attack, Sully would do a Crash Bandicoot and body slam the floor, and then just simply carry on. But Mike goes into a ball formation and bounces. And you can make him keep on bouncing. Which is fun, I won't lie. I mean, I used to make Mike do this all the time when I was a kid. But I don't get why Mike was given this advantage and Sully wasn't given anything to compensate this. Mike could also hover temporarily after a double jump, which I have to say is very amusing to see. And when he attacks whilst moving, you can make it last longer. I can only guess that Mike is considered to be the easy option, as Sully has no traits that make him different to Mike, so if you want to play this game on easy mode, just go with Mike. I just swap between them after every level as I like the variety. Now the controls themselves,
Oh, they're a bit clunky, I will say.
the characters move around fine and everything, but they just feel a bit blocky. You can sometimes jump towards an edge and they won't grab it, or attacking enemies can sometimes be a pain as you swear you hit them, but the characters just sort of slide off the enemies, and the jumping, it's okay, but it can feel quite heavy.
It's not that the game's unplayable or anything like that, it's just one of those situations that when you're a kid you don't realise it, but when you replay it as an adult you think, oh my god, how did I play this?
And the camera can sometimes fight against you, making it hard to control them, but I rarely had this. The camera was actually pretty good most of the time, until I tried out the first person mode.
Ah!
That face will scar me for life. Now in each level, there are 3 medals you can earn. A bronze, silver and gold medal. The bronze medal is the minimal amount you need in order to progress with the game, and to achieve it, you need to scare a certain amount of these little robot children in each level. To then gain the silver medal, you need to collect 10 of these coins in each level, and for the gold, you need to scare all of the robot children.
Oh yes, let's talk about the scaring.
Yes, you do get to be a monster in this game and scare children. Don't worry kids, they're not real human beings, that's way too scary and graphic. To make this game seem less threatening, you scared these cartoony children robots called Nerves. Or you know, it's because they're in an academy and it's not the best idea having your targets being actual live substances now, is it?
Basically, this game is just so similar to Samurai Jack because you see they both replaced humans for robots to be less graphic. #relatable!
To scare these Nerves, you approach them and press circle. But it's not as simple as that. You may have noticed that we have this little graph to our left which has lots of different colours on it. Well, coincidentally, each nerve has a different coloured top which matches this graph. You need to fill up each colour on this graph by collecting these little tubs of ooze, yes, this is called ooze, in order to be able to scare a nerve of that colour. Starting with the weakest nerve, blue, you little nervous nerve! Then green, yellow, orange, and finally red, which has an exclamation point for full scaring capacity! If you try to scare one of these nerves when you haven't filled up their colour on the chart, this little light above their head won't light up and they will laugh at you for trying. But then once you've collected enough ooze and their colour on the graph lights up, I see their... Oh my god, I should say, I'm going to add the Seymour. But then once you've collected enough ooze and their colour on the graph lights up, I see the light above their head is on.
Come here, you little brat! I'm going to get you for laughing at me!
Now once you're in scaring mode, a screen canister will appear to the right of us. Above the canister is the button you need to press in order to scare the nerve, and you keep on tapping it in order to fill the canister. Once the canister is then full, you get an alert noise and you have to press X in order to give them the final blow. We scare because we care. You also have a different number of buttons you need to press depending on the colour of the nerve. For example, the stronger red nerves need a bit more to scare them, so you need to press a bigger combination of buttons, whereas the blue ones are really easy, so you just need to press the one. But you don't even need to press these buttons harder or anything, just tap them a few times and you're pretty much done. I even tried not pressing a button or just pressing the wrong buttons, and either the meter just went down and then the nerve ran away, or the monster scared but the nerve didn't react. But if I was a nerve, I would just laugh at these two because their methods of scaring are stupid and I love them. Here are some of the warm-up scares for Sully. They're a pretty standard arms moving and making a loud "Arrgh!" Seriously though, mate, what are you doing? And then for his final scare, Sully is amusing but not scary at all. I mean, I think his normal face is better than this bag or these goggles. Actually, the goggles are terrifying! But Mike is by far the funniest. He just does so many stupid noises or does the really cheesy boogeyman approach. And some of his final scares are just works of art. But this one's my favourite. I remember my brother and I used to replicate these noises all the time when we were kids. And now I'm replicating them again.
Oh my god. Rosie, can you open the door? I really need to go.
But it's not only the noises of these scares that make them great, it's also the animations. You can see they tried, there is definitely some effort made, but it's just their faces. They just bend and stretch and their eyes grow and Mike won't shut his mouth and it's all just really disturbing. You can tell that they put more effort into the body language, and when it came into the facial expressions it was just a bit more like, "Oh Jimmy, can you just stretch his face out a bit to make it look a bit more scary?" "Yeah, alright mate, I can do it for you." "Ah, thanks Jimmy, what a lad." And when you get a silver or gold medal, they use the exact same animation as they do when you win a bronze medal, so the voice doesn't match up what they're doing. So Jim and I used to say,
"Who's the monster?"
with an I! But in general, the graphics are okay. You have some dark and light locations, but overall, But you can't really duplicate the fur texture on Sully in a video game now, can you? Oh, that's why Kingdom Hearts 3's taken so long to come out, because they've been animating Sully's fur the whole time. Oh, those sly sausages. The levels you explore are pretty standard in all honesty, but I think they take a really interesting approach to some common themes. By common themes, I mean you have a city, desert, and snow. Yes, there are only 3 worlds. But within these worlds are 4 levels where you can collect 3 medals in each, making it 15 trials.
That's right, 15 trials.
And these levels are all varied in terms of location. In the city you have a park, streets and night with the Buzz Lightyear, I presume, statue! a docking area and a town. The desert is probably the least varied, having a tropical beach and then 3 different types of ruins. And finally, the snow area has a snow hut, skiing lift, which has a slidey down bit! Woohoo! A winter castle and an ice hot springs kind of level, which is very, very annoying as you need to keep on climbing and climbing all the way to the top, and if you fall off, you need to first of all find out which way it was you were going, and then you need to make your way all the way back up, jumping on these little steamy pipey things, which is very slow and it's all very annoying! But each level adds something interesting to them, such as puzzles, fun little slides, and secret areas which you need an accessory for in order to gain access to. And a lot of the time, these areas contain some coins or a nerve that you need to scare, so if you want to complete this game and get all of the silver and gold medals, you need to come back to these levels. The accessories you need are a trampoline, a speed boost, and these little ball things, which basically transport you from one place to the other. The trampoline and the balls can be a little bit fiddly sometimes, fiddly balls, but oh, these speedy platforms can be a pain in the arse! In order to use them, you need to make sure that you face them very straightly. If you're at a slight angle, it won't work. Then the camera resets behind you, which messes with your head, and sometimes you move forward, but other times you sort of trip up and lose momentum, which is not what you want when you have to get across an ice platform which is at a tilt, or you have to make a jump which is only then cancelled because you just done a stupid little trip up thing because you've lost all of your momentum. It's very annoying! But we get these cute little videos for them though, so it's okay.
Nice work, boys. You've earned the right to use the speed boost arrows scattered throughout Monster Island. Use them wisely.
Once you have these abilities, you'll then have to face your biggest foe, Randall.
Are you ready to challenge me?
Yeah, mate, you cocky little shite.
To face Randall, you need to collect all of the bronze medals in each world. Now, what do you think these boss battles would be? Considering that Randall and Sully are always trying to outscare each other, what do you think their epic monster challenge would be? A race. A race down a slide with some platforming bits. But these aren't just normal races, they do have a twist. First of all, you just need to win, but then you also need to collect a certain amount of coins by the time you've finished, otherwise Randall will automatically win. And you have 2 paths you can choose with these new accessories. You can either use the accessory to take a shortcut and potentially get further ahead, but you get next to no coins, or you can take the longer route, which slows you down but you get a lot more coins for it. I really like this, and there are actually a few moments where I had a little panic as I had to make a quick decision on which way to go. And Randall even spices it up as in late shit! But if you lose, you just need to do the race again, and if you win, the next world is unlocked which you can access in the overworld. You can also access these races anytime once you've done them, you just need to talk to Randall in the overworld and you're set. But do you want to know what the best thing about this game is? The music. It's bloody brilliant. Listen to the soundtrack to this game an awful lot, and it's actually one of the main factors I remember from this game from when I was a kid. The overall theme is quite jazzy, which also suits the first film, but you can also get more of a variety when you go into the desert worlds, and it's all just so atmospheric and good! Mike's on an epic quest, going in pyramids, lots of pyramids, lots of pyramids, pyramids, pyramids. I'm just gonna go with that. My favourite tracks are from the city, the menu, and the orientation course. And whenever I hear the orientation music, I always make the whoop whoop noises. And the menu has such a sexy track, I'm sorry, it is just so smooth and sexy. But you get all of this memorable music, and then in the overworld, there's nothing. Which sucks! And that's everything I have to say about this game, really. It's a small game, I won't lie, but I still had a really nice time with the couple of hours I had from it. A lot of people will find this game repetitive and boring, and it's nowhere near as fun, creative, or amazing as, let's say, Toy Story 2. But there's still heart in this game. I remember finding this hidden compartment in the menu for the extras, and not only was I blown away by the fact that this was a hidden section in the menu, but then Mike pops up and this blew my mind even further! I think it's quite hard to decide if a kid from this generation would really enjoy this game, because obviously nowadays they're so exposed to so many amazing things. It's a point of, would they still enjoy just a little innocent game like this? But you know what? I think that if you gave this game to a kid who was still finding their gaming feet, I think they'd still enjoy it. And for being such a sweet little innocent game that I feel has had a lot of heart put into it, I'm gonna say that this game has got the juice. I mean, what more can I say again than I wouldn't have nothing if I didn't.